Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Bond.
Up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Say hello to my little friend. Here's Johnny.
And here we go.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the 27th installment of Snack It Chat. Hope all of you guys are having a wonderful Friday in this quarantine madness. And as you can see, today we got a good amount of news to talk about. But as always, before we get to the movie news, I gotta tell you guys what my snack of the day is. And today, I got some cookies. And no, it's not Oreos, because I believe I've said it before. And if I haven't, then what is wrong with me? But Oreos are my favorite cookies. But I don't have those today. Today, I have Barritas cookies. And if you have never tried these before, or never heard of them, you must try these because these are quite good. I got the pineapple ones. I believe there's a bunch of different kinds. I don't know all the kinds, but this one is the pineapple one. Now, what you're about to experience here is the hard work of opening up cookies. But yeah, like I said, these are quite good, as you can see there, and I actually haven't had one of these in a while. But so yeah, here we go. Yup, they are pretty much pretty good as I remembered from the last time of eating them. But yeah, I definitely recommend these if you guys have never tried them. Alright, so now with all that done, let's hop into the movie news with our very first topic, which is Mission Impossible 7. That's right, folks. So Mission Impossible, excuse me, is currently shooting, and Tom Cruise is still nuts. And to prove it to you, well, roll the clip. Okay, so this man, I guess, if that's what you want to call him. I mean, I guess he saw Tenet and was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I need to do some stunts. I need to shock the world once again. And he definitely did his job. He definitely did that. It's definitely one of the most jaw-dropping stunts I've seen from him, which is definitely saying something. I mean, whether you're talking about the stunt that he did for Rogue Nation, or jumping off an airplane like in Fallout and breaking his ankle and all that madness. But I mean, what do you expect? It's Tom Cruise. I'm sure he's going to continue doing this as long as he is alive, because that's just what he does. So yeah, I really have nothing else to comment on this. It's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, this is like Grand Theft Auto in real life right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Grand Theft Auto in real life. Absolutely crazy. I mean, jumping off a bike and parachuting is just like... Parachuting is already a no for me. I mean, you add a motorcycle to that, then, no thanks. And a franchise that could possibly top this, and maybe probably will top this insane stunt, pulled off by Tom Cruise, and that is Fast and the Furious. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Fast 9, which has been delayed, sadly, to next year, as we all know. It's been a big thing for, like, the last couple years. How people have been talking about, oh, you know, Fast and the Furious is going to space. I mean, I've even said the same thing on a couple of my videos, but I mean, that's been a thing that a lot of people have been talking about. Apparently, Ludacris kind of hinted at that, but didn't really confirm it a couple months ago. But, get ready for this. Apparently, Michelle Rodriguez, who obviously is a big part of the Fast and the Furious franchise, she basically came out and confirmed it. So she was on SiriusXM, and she came out and basically said, quote, "Oh, no way. How did you guys find that out?" See what happens? People start talking behind the scenes, man. When a movie doesn't come out, and forget about it. Things get out. Talking about the space thing, of course. Nobody was supposed to know that. Oh well, I'm not lucky enough to hit space, but we did get a female writer, and it showed a lot of love, I think on this one. Thanks to Justin Lin, we were able to find a little bit more attention and love for the girls in this movie, and so I'm really hopeful in that shows through in the final product. End quote. So apparently this was supposed to be a surprise, and I mean, I probably would have preferred it to stay as a surprise because I like surprises. Even though people have been talking about this for years, I think it would have been cool to see them like, oh wow, they actually went into space. But I mean, still, we kind of figured that they were going to go into space sometime soon. I didn't think it was going to be this movie, maybe Fast 10. But yeah, this is something that a lot of people expected, and I think this is a good thing. And let me tell you guys why. You see, space is a very lonely place. You know, there could be a couple Martians out there just sitting on Mars, maybe having a beer or two, you know, just sitting there, and it could get lonely sometimes. And I think what space might need is some family. You know what I mean? And I think the Fast and the Furious franchise, I think the people over there could possibly accomplish bringing that family that space needs. I believe space needs family. That is why I think it is a good thing that Fast and the Furious is going to space. So yeah, those are my thoughts about Fast 9 going to space, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I probably would have preferred it to be as a surprise, because it would have been cool being in the theater and be like, oh wow, they actually went to space in this movie. But again, like Michelle Rodriguez said, things are going to come out. It happens. It happened here with Fast 9. So now let's move on to another big franchise, and that is Star Wars. Now, Daisy Ridley, obviously who plays Rey and big star of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, she came out and talked about how the character of Rey was handled when she said, quote, "At the beginning, there was toying around with an Obi-Wan connection." That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There were different versions. Then it really went to it was no one. And then it came to episode 9, and JJ, talking about JJ Abrams, pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine is granddaddy. Then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then, even as we were filming, I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be. End quote. Now, to me, the way the Rey character was handled by Daisy Ridley's description that she gave here, it's kind of like if you were going to let me try to decide where to eat, because I'd probably be like, you know, I think cheeseburgers sound good. Actually, no, you know what? Scrap that. We're going to Italian. Actually, no, never mind. Let's go to cheeseburgers. Actually, you know what? I just don't want to eat at all. I feel like that's how they kind of handled this whole Rey thing. A bunch of, like, again, what it looks like here, a bunch of, like, indecisiveness, which is like what would happen to me if you were to let me decide where to eat. But again, this kind of shows that there wasn't a complete plan with this sequel trilogy. I mean, obviously, there wasn't really a direct plan for the Rey character. There wasn't really any setup for Palpatine coming back. There wasn't really a direct plan for this sequel trilogy, and it's not like I'm giving away shocking news here. I mean, between all the stuff from John Boyega coming out and talking about how he felt the Finn character was handled, and Daisy Ridley coming out on how the Rey character was handled, and who knows, maybe Oscar Isaac is going to come out, or he's probably just sitting there, he's like, yeah, I'm in Dune. Now, I probably would have preferred Rey to be the daughter of Obi-Wan. I think that would have made more sense. But to be honest with you, I would have been completely fine if she didn't have a celebrity as her father, grandfather, great-great-grandfather, and mother, or whatever. I would have been completely fine if, you know, she was just Rey, you know. But I definitely think that Obi-Wan would have made more sense than Palpatine. But, you know, it's what it is. It's what it is. We move on. We got Mandalorian Season 2 coming up, you know? So, those are kind of my thoughts of Daisy Ridley's comments here. Definitely leave a comment down below of what you think of her comments of how the Rey character was handled in the sequel trilogy, and also leave a comment down below of what you think of the Mission Impossible 7 stuff and also the Fast 9 stuff. So with that said, let's move on to another topic, and that is Tenet. That's right, we're talking more Tenet. Isn't it great? So Tenet, a film that you can say is currently dictating whether or not films will be released sooner rather than later, depending on how Tenet does at the box office. And so far, Tenet has opened up to $50 million overseas and opened up to $20 million domestically. And in total, Tenet has made $150 million. Okay, so like I said, Tenet has a lot on its shoulders right now. And $150 million so far. I mean, that's not bad for Tenet. I mean, the movie cost $200 million to make, so it obviously still has a long way to go to even break even. It has to make $400 million to break even, and I believe around 450 to be profitable. $20 million domestically usually isn't the best for a movie like Tenet, but kind of like the article that I got this information from, how they kind of stated that you also have to consider all the factors like most theaters not allowing full capacity yet. Los Angeles and New York City isn't. The movie theaters there aren't open yet, and we'll get back to that pretty soon, and as well as some other factors. But I think the success of Tenet really depends on the legs that this movie has. If this movie is to keep on going throughout the weekends and get some more and more money and adding to the point where it's like, okay, this movie turned out to be pretty profitable. We did a pretty good job. Because if it doesn't have legs at the box office and it just sinks downhill from here, well, then that is bad news. Then studios might look at that and be like, yeah, we don't want that. We're going to delay our movies a little bit more until, more people are going to the movies, It's going to be really interesting to see how this movie does at the box office because, like I said, it really is going to determine and influence what happens to other big scheduled movies like Wonder Woman 1984. And speaking of Wonder Woman 1984, it just came out today that movie has actually been delayed. So a couple days ago, it was reported that some unknown sources have been hearing that Warner Brothers might move Wonder Woman 1984's release date to either November or December, which they thought would ultimately push back Dune to 2021. And one of the reasons Warner Brothers might do this, which they ultimately did, delay the movie, is because movie theaters in Los Angeles and New York City, like I said, and I think as well as San Francisco, aren't projected to open until late September and early October, and Warner Brothers wants to give Tenet more time. See what I did there? More time to make more money in those places. And apparently, Wonder Woman 1984 has been delayed to now December 25th of this year, which is 1 week after Dune. So that did not happen. Dune did not get pushed back, at least not yet. And the article kind of pointed out how the holidays could basically make both Wonder Woman 1984 and Dune both pretty successful. And to me, at least from a business point of view, I think it would have made more sense to delay Dune because I think it would make more money if it wasn't a week before Wonder Woman 1984. I just think that would be the smarter move. I mean, again, Warner Brothers still has time to think about this, and they still might delay the movie. I mean, for all we know, they probably already decided it just hasn't come out yet. But, I mean, yeah, sure, it would suck because that means we have to wait even longer for Dune. But still, I think from a business point of view, I think it would make sense to push Dune back. I do think it was a smart move, though, to push Wonder Woman back because, like I've said before, Tenet needs all the help that it can get. And yeah, it definitely needs to make that dough. So that move kind of makes sense. But the whole not delaying Dune, again, from a business point of view, that doesn't really make as much sense to me. But at least for us fans, we get to have Dune and Wonder Woman 1984. At least today, we get to have those movies come out on back-to-back weekends. So That's good for us fans. So, for us movie fans and all that. With that said, leave a comment down in the comment section below of what you think of Wonder Woman 1984 delaying its release date, but as well as the other topics I ran down through today. And we don't have as much to look forward to as far as entertainment-wise as last weekend. We do have that new horror movie, Antebellum, which looks pretty cool. I believe Jordan Peele is producing, and then we do have a new episode of The Boys. And while it does kind of suck that we can't binge The Boys on Amazon Prime because they're doing one episode a week, but I mean, obviously last week they did 3 episodes because it's the first week or whatever, but Amazon's releasing a new episode of The Boys each week. And for us, while it may suck because we can't binge it, it is a pretty smart move by Amazon to kind of do that, because that just keeps us, well, for one, if a person was just signed up to be a member of Amazon Prime just because of The Boys, that means they stay on as a member for even longer. And then it also keeps us talking about The Boys even longer as well, because if we just binged it, we'd probably just be talking about it for that weekend or week or whatever, and probably not as much if they did episode week per week, kind of like how Disney Plus does it with their shows, like The Mandalorian, how that just kind of kept us talking because they're kind of releasing an episode week per week. And then whereas you see Netflix with Stranger Things, I mean, we talked about it when it came out, but then the conversation died down pretty quick. So it is kind of smart for Amazon, even though it sucks for us because we can't binge it. I was definitely sad after I finished those 3 episodes because, man, oh man, those 3 episodes of The Boys were so good. They were so good. So many shocking moments, and I'm really excited to see the 4th episode and where it goes on from here, because there is some madness. There is definitely some madness. So with that said, thank you for joining me on the 27th installment of Snag and Chat. I hope all of you guys had a good time watching. And again, leave a comment down in the comment section below of what you think of the topics that I ran down through today. You can also follow me at The Kid Critic on Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that is very important. And as always in every single video, look out for the next video or review. And peace.